All right, everybody. We are live on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel. We are I think the time has changed. The prelims kick off at 2 p.m. because we lost a fight last night. But this is the People's Pre-Fight Show. We're getting you ready for UFC Vegas 36. Fascinating main event in the middleweight division between Derek Brunson and Darren Till. I am Mike Heck. No bells and whistles. No Casey on the production. No music. But joining me is UFC welterweight contender Sean Brady, who just got some big news a couple of days ago. He's going to be fighting Michael Chiesa in November. This is massive. Sean, thank you for doing this. How are you, my man?
I'm good, my man. I'm a lot better. I got a big fight on the horizon. It's something I've been asking for a while, so I couldn't be better. I'm stoked.
Yes. First things first. So by the way, if you're watching right now, type your questions, thoughts about UFC Vegas 36. If you have questions for Sean, right into the chat and we'll put them on the screen and we'll address them all. But how's I know you had the infection. It was pretty nasty. That's why you had to withdraw from the Kevin Lee fight. Yeah. But how are you doing now?
I'm good, man. It's been 4 weeks since I've been out of the hospital. So it was a tough 4 weeks just because I had a pick line in my arm and I wasn't really able to do much, but I was because when you have that line in your arm, you can't get it wet. Well, you can't get it soaking wet. So like I was pushing the limits on my workouts, like right to where the edge was. But I just got my line out recently, and I feel great. My foot feels great. So all is well. I got 11 weeks, so plenty of time, and I'm excited, man. I'm just happy to be back to normal. I was in a shitty spot when I was in the hospital, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but it definitely turned for the best, and I'm good, man. So I'm happy.
So when did you find out that Chiesa was an option?
So they called us a few weeks ago, and they asked about October, and October is just way too soon. Like I literally just got out of the hospital recently. I was like, listen, like I can do the end of November, early December. And they offered Mike, and I'm like, shit, like I just told my manager, I'm like, I really want this fight. Like if we can get this fight for a later date, like please tell them late November, early December, like I'll be good to go. So they came back with November 20th. And which is funny. My fiance, she told me months ago, she's like, if there's any date you don't fight, please do not fight November 20th. She's one of her best friend's weddings. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and this was before I got hurt. I'm like, no worries. Like, I'll make sure I don't fight them. Boom. They hit us up. My manager calls me. He's like, dude, you'll never guess the date that they gave us. And I was like, November 20th. And he was like, yup. I was like, listen, let me just call her, talk to her. And she was ecstatic for me. She was like, you better take that fight, and we'll be in Vegas. So she talked to her friend. They're all good. She's happy. I'm happy. So it's working out for the best.
So she's missing the wedding to come to the fight?
Yeah, she wouldn't miss my fight even though you're barely not even allowed in there. She'll be in there. I mean, I don't know if they're giving fighters tickets or if they're selling them for $2,000. I'll drop the money for her to get in there because she just wants to watch me fight. You know, that's why like July 10th was going to be awesome because there was a crowd. She just wanted to be there and watch me fight. And then when Kevin got hurt, it was a shit show. That fell off. And now the 28th, I was going to get her in there. I was going to sneak her in. I was going to put her in my corner if I had to, but it's all good now. So we're ready to go.
There we go. Very excited. This is a great fight. Like I tweeted out the other day, two of the real good guys in the sport. And by the way, for those who haven't seen it yet or listened to it, we did the documentary. We did the story on Eugene Aubry, who's a Philadelphia fighter. He was shot in the neck and paralyzed. It's just a crazy story of his entire life. And Sean was a big part of making that happen, not only with the interviews, but he actually got me in touch with a lot of different people like Miles Lee, like Ryan Cafaro. Ryan Cafaro, in a lot of people's mind, was the star of the whole documentary because he's such a personality.
I knew when you reached out, I'm like, I got to put him in contact with the right people because, like I said, I know Eugene, but those guys are way closer with him than me. So I knew I had to get you talking to the right people. But man, that's another thing. Like I went back on in the hospital. I'm like, I can't, like my foot's fucked up. But I thought about that kid. I'm like, it can always be so much worse, you know? So like I had to man up a little bit and just think about what he's going through and him just trying to push back, and it's super motivating to see him in the gym and getting his stem cells and doing everything he's doing. So it's hard. It's heartbreaking for him, but I'm excited for him, and I know he's going to keep pushing and pushing until he's back on his feet.
Yeah, he's in the gym doing ground and pound drills. He's lifting and flexing. It's unbelievable. Big thank you to everybody else as well for he's over the hump in terms of the GoFundMe, which is awesome.
Yeah,
so all right, let's get to some of these questions. We'll get to UFC Vegas 36 in a second, but we talked about Kevin Lee. You were supposed to fight him a couple of weeks ago. Daniel Rodriguez steps in, gets the victory. So here's a question from our friend MMA Wagers. How did you score the D-Rod versus Kevin Lee fight?
I had it 2 rounds. I had the second and the third for D-Rod. I actually had Kevin winning the first round. I remember, if I'm correct, he took him down and he ended the round on top from what I remember, right? But he didn't do too much with it. But I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a close fight. But I had D-Rod winning, I don't think Kevin did enough. I don't think, especially when he got that one takedown, he got reversed, it kind of took the wind out of his sails. And then he shot a couple more times and couldn't get the takedown. And I don't know, man, it's just 170. There's big boys. Like, I walk around upwards of 200 pounds. I cut 20 pounds in a week to make 170. So I don't know what Kevin was walking around at, but it's tough because, yeah, man, he might have to, that 55 is probably a really hard cut for him, but he might not be big enough for 170. So I have no ill will against Kev. I hope everything works out for him. I hope he can bounce back, but it was a good fight for D-Rod for sure.
Absolutely. I think he's one of the more underrated guys in the division right now. Yeah, I mean, you can understand where he's coming from, picking up these wins, and
he's killing it.
Let's see. Of course, the main event. What do you think is next for Darren Till if he loses to Derek Brunson today, Sean?
So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and I think he's 1-3 in his last fights, or 1-4. So that put him at 1-4 or 1-5. All super close fights, though. Like, if you go back and look at Darren's record, all of his fights are very, very close fights. So I think this is a must win for him. I don't think you can even, in his mind, he can't even be thinking about a loss, and especially if he does lose, he's not going to be getting main events. He's not going to be getting these big names. I mean, he'll have to take a step back in competition. So, yeah, I don't think losing is an option for Darren tonight.
It's definitely a big fight, but Darren Till just, for some reason, and I think Kevin Lee is similar. It's crazy. Like, they fall into success no matter what happens. And I think Darren is a name that a lot of big name middleweights will still want to fight. So it's just crazy how the UFC works sometimes, especially with guys like Darren. I mean, if he wins, he's fighting for the title. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I'm thinking of it as a fighter, like thinking about it, like, damn, like if you go 1-5, but like you said, they're not going to get rid of him. They're not going to, everyone still is going to want to fight him because, like you said, he has a huge name. And the guys who are coming up want to make their name off of his name. So there'll always be fights there for him. But I know, like, in his mind as a competitor, he knows he has to win this fight, or it's not going to be good for his mental state of, like, damn, like, am I really good enough to fight with these top guys in middleweight? So he's in a tough spot. I think he's going to win, though. I picked him to win, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, he's so interesting. We were talking about this on the preview show because he's had some good wins. He's had, he goes out there and knocks out Cerrone, and he's had some close fights along the way. He very competitive against Robert Whittaker, but I feel even at this point in his career, we have no idea like who Darren Till the fighter really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because, like you said, he had some really big moments against Cowboy, and then even when he fought Masvidal, he dropped Masvidal. He wound up getting knocked out, but he's had really big moments, and then all of his other fights are super close, like the Kelvin Gastelum fight, super close. Robert Whittaker fight, super close. So he's always in these super close fights. You really don't know, like, where he's at. So maybe we'll get some questions answered tonight.
Yeah, Derek Brunson's on a roll right now. Is Eddie Torres going to be a problem on the big stage one day, Sean?
Eddie Torres is going to be a big problem. He's a big boy, so he's going to be a big problem if he keeps making 145. But Eddie's helped me get ready for many, many fights. I think he's 3 or 4-0. He should have some big news coming for CFFC soon. So he's on a roll, and he's a little bit older, but he takes care of his body very well. So I think he definitely still has time to make a good run. I love Eddie to death, so I'm excited for him. We got our team's killing it, man. We got 4 or 5 guys in the UFC now. We just had a big weekend last weekend, so big things are happening out with our gym and in our city.
It's nice seeing Pat Sabatini. That was a nice win.
Yeah,
good stuff
and
right there.
Especially after getting rocked like that, you know, he's I was nervous. I was watching it, and I hate watching my teammates fight. Like my heart was beating through my chest, and then once he hit the ground, you could just tell he was just in his element. Even when that guy was going for the toe hold, like I wasn't even looking at that. I was just looking at Pat get the heel. Once he called it, I knew it was a wrap. So couldn't be happier for him.
Picks for Molly McCann versus Ji-Yeon Kim and method of victory, please. So right now, Molly McCann is a -120 favorite. The comeback on Ji-Yeon Kim is +102. So it's pretty evenly lined. Very interesting fight. You have to feel that this is as close to a must-win for Molly McCann as possible. Even though she's very popular, she's very gritty.
2-fight skid, right? She's on a 2-fight skid, I think. Yeah, I picked her to win. I was listening to James Krause earlier. He was saying good things about her. A lot of people saying good things about her. I wasn't too big on this card, but throughout this week, I just started like looking in more and more of the fighters and just trying to learn more. But I'm picking her to win too, so hopefully she gets it done.
Here's an interesting question. Sean Brady, gun to your head. What would you prefer, Chiesa's spot in the rankings or Chiesa's spot as an analyst on television?
Chiesa's spot in the rankings.
Would you do that though? Would you want to do that?
One day, I just got like. When I'm like me and you, like we talk all the time, so it's easy talking to you. I just got to get out of my shell more, but it's definitely something I would like to do, especially towards the end of my career.
I can't, especially with the tats, man. I can't imagine you wearing a suit. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm literally in like my own jerseys or my own gear, shorts and flip flops. And if I'm not in training gear, this is how I'm dressed. Like when people see me in like jeans or a suit, they're like, what is going on? So it'd be strange, but I would make sure I'd have some good suits. So we'll see what happens.
We got questions all over the place here. Sean, were you expecting to get this fight after not being able to fight Kevin Lee? It feels like the UFC sees something special in you. And what's interesting is when you and I last spoke, you talked about how, I don't know if like you were feeling a little down about how like the trajectory was going, like some of the fights, because you wanted some top 15 guys. You were getting tough matchups, but you weren't getting like the caliber of fighter that a lot of people believe that you deserve. So after this whole thing happened and, you know, the infection and all the nastiness you had to go through with that, were you surprised that they offered you Chiesa?
Yeah and no. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And this whole time I knew like it was just something weird when, first of all, for people who don't know, when I signed the Kevin fight, the only reason we took that fight was because nobody in the top 15 would take a fight with me. I was asking for everybody after my Jake Matthews fight, and no one, either they were booked or they didn't want to fight me because I didn't have the name or whatever it was. So then they came at us with Kevin Lee, and I was like, man, he's not ranked, but he's a big name. So at least I'll get something out of it. And then July 10th, we're supposed to fight. He gets hurt. At that point, I was already a whole training camp in. I did a whole another training camp. And then 4 weeks out from my fight, I get the worst injury I've ever had in my life. I thought I was going to lose my foot. So it was a string of just bad luck. It just felt like that fight was never supposed to happen. And now it's done. And then now I get the Chiesa fight. It just everything feels right now. I know I had a bad run of bad stuff happening, but now I got that fight. And I was a little surprised when they offered it, but I was like, I definitely wasn't passing it up. So it's a fight I've been asking for a while. I respect the shit out of Chiesa. And like you said, I'm not a shit talker. He's not really a shit talker. Two good guys. Like I'm a martial artist. He's a martial artist. We're going to go in there. We're going to fight. And the best man's going to win. And it's going to give me an opportunity to show how good I am against a higher caliber of guy, which I've been asking to fight. So I'm excited.
There we go. Are the fights early today? Yes, they are early today, and I love it so much. I'm very excited. 2 p.m. the prelims kick off. It was supposed to start at 1:30, but we lost the Jonathan Martinez versus Marcelo Rojo fight. As you probably know by now, Jonathan Martinez missed weight yesterday, and he had some complications from the weight cut that forced him out of the fight. So that fight is no longer happening. Down to 9 fights, and it should be a quick yet fun night of fights.
Good night.
I just saw one. All these questions are coming in. It's crazy. This is insane. All right, there we go. How much did your back tat cost?
So funny story about my back tat. I started getting my ribs done by this guy. His name's Dave. We call him a Resp. He's a graffiti guy. That was his graffiti name. He was doing my ribs. I was paying for it, and then eventually, like, we got close, and he started to know me. I might have been CFFC champ. I might not have been. He wanted to sponsor me because that's how I made all my money back then, with sponsors. He's like, hey, listen, I'll sponsor you for tattoos. This is like, I was putting their logos on my T-shirts, on our banners, like on our shorts, everything. And we just traded sponsorship. So he did my whole back for free. I go to a different guy now for like all my my new Japanese stuff. His name's Matt Landon. But I also, my buddy Chris, he did my entire Japanese dragon leg. I trade him jiu-jitsu privates for tattoo lessons. So I made out pretty good on my back tattoos, on all my tattoos.
Yeah, I would say so. Is Kies the toughest opponent you face? I feel that's a yes. Who's Paul Felder going to be rooting for?
I don't know who Paulie Paul is going to be rooting for. Me, I would hope me. I've known Paul since I was like 17 years old. I know Paul. When me and Paul were talking the other day, I'm like, I know that's your boy, whatever. But I know Paul for a long time, before the UFC, before he was a commentator. So I know he might not say it, but I hope he's rooting for me.
There you go. What's the impression of the hype surrounding Paddy Pimble? Of course, he makes his UFC debut, long-awaited UFC debut today against Luigi Vendramini. What have you made of the hype surrounding Paddy Pimble, especially from the Cage Warrior scene?
I really haven't looked into him much until this week, and I think he's 16-3. He's just an exciting guy, you know. I guess that he's huge in Europe. I don't know much about him. I'm hoping to find out something tonight. What do you think about him?
I understand.
I don't know much.
He's gotten. I mean, you could see. I mean, this is MMA, and you've obviously experienced it over the years. Like, the more you fight, the better you get.
He's got like an it factor to him or something. Like, it
sure,
seems like people like attract themselves to him. You know, he's got like that Sean O'Malley feel, kind of.
Yeah,
I see him talking shit all week, and like talking about like Khabib, like saying Khabib's record sucked or like some crazy shit. So I was like, all right, well, we're gonna have to see if this kid can fight this weekend.
Yeah, he's got the gift of gab. He's got the platinum blonde hair. He looks like $1 million. He's got a following, obviously, from Europe. It would have been huge if this card ended up in London like originally planned.
Yeah.
It could have put him over as a massive star, but this fight was close to not even happening because I know Paddy was dealing with some visa issues. Luckily, that got cleared up. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're going to get our answer today. Luigi's tough, man. He's tough. Like, you got to put him away, because if it's a close fight and it gets to the third round, you saw it in Luigi's last fight. He's a grinder, man. So I like
Paddy to win. So I got him in some parlays. So I hope Paddy wins. Let's go, Paddy.
Yes. MMA Fighting Jinxers yesterday predicted there wouldn't be 10 fights. Yeah, I don't know if I said that. I'm usually very positive. A lot of Paddy the Baddy love here. Paddy Pimble is the worst entrance music and walkout in the world. We'll see. That is hilarious. I'm blinded by this baldy bright head. Listen, new command center here, okay? We're in a new place, new background, new all that stuff. We're trying to figure this all out, okay? Is that Sean Brady? Yes.
It is Sean Brady.
It is Sean Brady. Kevin Lee had the best entrance in 2017. Darren Till is a force. Sean Brady, the dark horse in all divisions. All divisions.
All divisions.
Mike, are you hearing rumors about UFC 270 doing Ngannou versus Gane and Adesanya versus Whitaker 2 in Paris? No idea. You cannot. I mean, ideally, if you could do Ngannou versus Gane in Paris, you would absolutely do it. But I mean, the world is just such a crazy place right now. I feel like that's way premature for any discussions like that to be happening.
I'm surprised November 6th is still in New York. I don't know. That might be a last minute switcher up. I just can't see it happening. New York's crazy right now.
Yeah. Especially with the proof of vaccination to get into the arena. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think the UFC, the UFC finds ways to make things happen.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
They've been doing it since the beginning. So
What else we got here? How do you see your fight with Michael Chiesa going, and what are some advantages you may have over Michael Chiesa?
I think an advantage I have over everybody in any division or anyone in general is just my strength. Like, I look like a strong guy, I look like a built guy, but I think it's people don't realize how strong and explosive I am until I really grab them. So I think that's going to play into it, and I'm going to be looking for a submission. Just know that.
Larry Bird joining the chat. I don't know if it's a real Larry Bird, but if it is, I'm gonna geek out right now in a big way.
No way, it's him.
Co-main event: Tom Asmadov versus Sergey Spivak. We all talked about this on the preview show yesterday. I feel like even though Sergey Spivak is a nice heavyweight prospect, I feel like this is a showcase day for Tom Asmadov, or at least it's laid out to be that way. I feel like he can get a quick finish here against a pretty tough guy. What are your thoughts on the co-main event?
Yeah, I'm taking him too. It looks like he has some pretty decent stand-up, but I was just watching his highlights, and he was mixing in some nice takedowns, ground and pound. So, like you said, I think it's a showcase for him. And I've kind of picked the entire European side, like Aspinall, Patty, Molly. Like, so that's kind of it's Darren. Like, obviously, we're supposed to be over. We're supposed to be in the UK,
in London. Yeah.
So I'm picking all those guys. I hope they all do good tonight.
Sean Brady versus Tom Brady in a Triller boxing match.
Come on. Stop it. That's my uncle.
That's your Uncle Tommy?
I wish it was my uncle.
Right? You'd be balling right now. You'd have all the tattoos. I heard Jack Shore is the dude we should really keep an eye on. Yes. I feel if there's like an underrated fighter on this entire card, it's Jack Shore. I know you're supposed to fight Said Nurmagomedov. That would have been a sick fight. That would have been an amazing test for him, but I feel like Jack Shore is being slept on, Sean. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's 14-0 as well. So I'm excited. Like I said, I don't know too much about these guys, but I'm super excited now. Like, I'm learning all their names, and I'm going to get to watch them all tonight. So I'm expecting big things from him too. I feel like you said, Tom and Patty and Jack Shore, this is like a night for them to showcase who they are.
Thoughts on Laura Senko joining the broadcasting team?
She's awesome.
Tremendous.
She's awesome.
And long overdue. This should have been done 2 years ago.
Yeah, she's great.
It was great seeing her do multiple roles on the Contender Series. I kind of fell for her for a way, but she handled it like a true champion.
Yeah, I heard her. I was listening to someone's podcast, and she was on Ariel, and she was saying like she was doing like 3 different jobs, running up and down steps, all kinds of stuff. Hopefully they take care of her next time.
Yeah, she calls the fights, then she goes in and announces the judges' scorecards and announces the winners, and then she runs back and does the interviews after.
That's crazy.
Good on her, man. How long do you think Sean O'Malley can stay at bantamweight given his height and how hard it might be to keep cutting over time? I think a couple more years, Sean. He's still pretty young. Eventually, I think that's going to catch up to him, but I think he's got some time at 35. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's got some time, but like you said, how old is Sean? 25, 26? If he starts packing on muscle, like the older he gets, he's definitely going to have to move up. But yeah, he's a tall bantamweight. I could definitely see him making it up to 45 and doing just fine. Yeah,
I mean, he's super talented. He's only going to get better. So, man, these questions are just flying in. I got to catch up here. Where are we at? We'll get there. There we go. Who are you picking, Marc-Andre Barrio or Dulce Lungiambula?
The name you just said, the last name you just said.
Lungiambula?
I didn't know either one of their names, but I know the one dude. I watched them fight, and I'm picking. Whatever you just said.
Dulce?
Yeah.
It's a good fight. Marc-Andre Barrio is, I don't know if he's first team all violence, but he's probably like he's on one of the teams.
Yeah.
He's had a tough little run. I think that's gonna be a crazy fight. I'm going with Dulce myself.
Yeah, he just had that crazy knockout. He had a big knockout his last fight, right? I think
that was his first UFC win too, like official UFC win.
Yeah. That's where I got my first impression from him. So I'm going with him.
Sean Brady, future champ. Mark my words. You got fans, Sean.
Let's go.
Who's the best 145er in the world? I would say Max Holloway. I mean, you go first.
Max. I mean, I think it's Max. I thought Max beat Volk that last fight. I think it's Max. You know, I love Max. I think it's Max. How about you?
It's Volk.
Yeah.
Right now, I thought Volk won the second fight. I thought. Oh, I mean, here's and my colleague Jed Mishu. So I'm going to steal his shine. He said something very similar on Between the Links, either this past week or the week before. Volkanovski doesn't get enough credit for what he did in that fight because Holloway took all this time. It was 7 months between fights. So Holloway took that time to transform his game plan, to transform his game, all of that stuff. Alexander Volkanovski made those adjustments in the middle of the fight. He was like, whoa, this is not what I expected. Then he makes the changes, and I thought he won the last 3 rounds. I thought Holloway definitely came out and won the first 2 rounds. It was a very close fight. I would love to see it again.
I definitely got to go back and watch it, but I just love Max. I want to see them. I hope something changes. Like I want to see them fight for a third time. You know, it's kind of not right now. At least I like to see Max go fight somebody else and see what happens with Ortega and Volk. But Volk is I'm a big Volk fan. He is very good, but there's just something about Max. I just love him.
Yeah, I wanted to see Max fight Justin Gaethje. That was the fight I wanted to see.
Yeah, well, him and Chandler is going to be wild. So.
Wild fight. Really good fight. Who from DGA earns the first title shot, Sean?
Me. Me.
I was gonna say, what else is he gonna say right now? Darren Till is gonna KO Brunson tonight, second round. We shall see. Sean, what do you think about Jake Matthews? Do you think he has a bright future after sharing the octagon with him?
I think Jake Matthews is an awesome guy, super good fighter. Yeah, I don't know how deep the training pool is out there in Australia. Maybe he could benefit from switching up his training, but he's a tough dude. And he hit me with some hard shots. You know, he's beat some very good guys. He's only lost to really good guys, and I knew that going into that fight. So I think he's a very good fighter. Good guy too. We have actually been chatting a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Best tattoos in the UFC besides you?
There's some good ones. Volk, the heavyweight Volkov, he has a good Japanese samurai on his back. And it's actually a cover-up. So off the top of my head, he's definitely got Cody just got a really good back piece done. And TJ Dillashaw has some good work too.
Will Asmadov win and finish Spivak? I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Any standout memories with the win over Court McGee, Sean? Guys, tough as nails. Thank you. I was there in Boston covering that event. So we got to see you fight for the first time. Your personality came out nice in the post-fight scrum backstage with us. Yeah. Outside of it just being your UFC debut and it was long awaited, what memories did you have sharing 15 hard minutes with a guy like Court McGee?
Just thinking, what do I got to do to put this man away? When I remember dropping him, and I'm like, man, if I would have hit anybody else with that, they would have been knocked out. And him popping up the way he did, he was like a zombie. He was very tough debut for me, but it was a very good win, and I was very happy with the way I adjusted. And Court's tough as nails. Only way you can describe that dude. He doesn't go away.
I think Patty will be a champion before O'Malley. We'll see. Sean doesn't want to fight ranked guys right now. He's not getting paid enough, and I can't really blame him, especially that freaking division. Good Lord.
Killers.
Okay, so you and I have talked about this before. Sean Brady, Khamzat Chimaev are low-key on a collision course. So we've talked about this before. Like, you were winning fights as he was on his way up. Yeah. And I'm not sure how this has changed. It's been, I don't know if it's probably been like 9-10 months since we had this conversation. Yeah. You felt like this fight could happen someday, but it's going to happen on the way to the belt, right? Like, do you still kind of feel that way, or do you feel like this fight could happen sooner?
Yeah, I think the UFC is going to let us both keep going the way we're going. I know I'm going this way, so if Khamzat keeps up, we'll meet at the top. That's where I think it's going to happen at.
Okay. Who do you got, Gane or Ngannou, when they actually fight?
Gane.
You got Gane?
Yeah, I just think. Listen, Franson could knock out a horse, but I just think Gane's weight. They had sparring. Someone leaked their sparring. I don't know if it was the trainer or something like that. And Gane was kind of beating him up and obviously the room and a fight's different, but Gane looked very good, and he only looks better and better every single fight. So I'm a fan of Gane. I'm a fan of the way he moves because I like to move a lot. Like, and for me to move the way I do at 70 is impressive. For him to move the way he does at heavyweight is insane. So I'm going with Gane.
He's a freak athlete,
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
It's such a nice guy. It's like a fresh, it's just fresh.
Yeah, it's nice.
When does the card start today? How long until? Right now, 28 minutes. 28 minutes of the prelims start on ESPN Plus. You're picking Darren Till. How do you see this getting done?
I feel like Brunson could get it done, but I just think Darren's, from what I remember, he's not very easy to take down. I don't really remember him getting taken down too many times. I think if Brunson can't get him down, it's going to be a rough night for him. So it's kind of going to depend on that. But I'm thinking third round TKO for Till.
Asmadov over Spivak. Yes, Casey is Go Chat admin. Listen, Casey's not here. Doing the best I can. Multiple duties. I'm like the Laura Senko of YouTube. No, I am not. She's way better than me. I got Patty and Brunson at a parlay. What do you think, Sean Brady? Well, I mean, you must feel like he's going to lose this parlay. You got 1-1.
I think you're going to lose, buddy. You might want to get rid of Brunson.
King B, you're going to win. You are going to win this parlay. Two decisions, though.
Get Jack Shore. Put Jack Shore in the parlay.
Let me see what the Jack Shore line is. -600 for Jack Shore.
You have to parlay Jack Shore. There's no money on him.
How did we meet, Sean? Spill the tea. I think it's just. I mean, literally, I think I just texted you one day. Like, we talked a little bit in Boston with the debut, like just very briefly. Yeah. And then I think I hit you up after you got your first submission win. I got your number from somebody. And then we just set up an interview, and then we've been chatting ever since. We've
been chatting for a while now. You're definitely one of my favorite guys to talk to. So I get a lot of people asking me, and I'm just like, but when Mike Heck hits you up, you're talking to him. So. Oh
man, just because you're right here. Are you going to do the Twitter Spaces again for the fight? I don't know. Maybe I will do that again because we introduced it for UFC 265. I might hold off till 266, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just bust it out and see what happens. See if people want to chat about the fights. I felt like I was a sports radio host in the Twitter Space. Have you ever done Twitter Spaces, Sean?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty cool. Like you just go in a room and like people come in, and if they want to you could basically tag them in to like give comments. It's kind of like calling it sports radio. It's pretty cool. Big fan, Sean. What do you think is the toughest fight in the welterweight division, excluding Kamaru Usman right now?
Luque Vicente. I think Luque is the toughest fight. I think Luque should be fighting for the belt after Colby, honestly. I know Leon's been on this crazy long streak, but Luque's been on a run, and I think Luque beats everyone in the division besides me.
What are the chances we see Nunes versus Tate 2 in 2022?
If Misha looked good her last fight, man. I was impressed. She keeps doing what she's doing. It could definitely happen.
I say, Tate's fighting Ketlin Vieira in October.
That's a tough fight.
Yeah, it is. I think if Tate wins that fight and does it impressively, if she finishes Ketlin Vieira, I think it's very likely because Amanda Nunes has only maybe a handful of fights left. Like eventually she's going to be like, all right, what am I doing?
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Tate is probably one of the bigger fights she can get right now.
Big. And she looks very good. And her name it's huge. It's Misha Tate. So that'd be a big one for sure.
Sean is Till. Mike, you still leaning Brunson? Yes, I am still leaning Brunson. I think Brunson wins the decision. But I could be wrong. Again, Darren Till could just blast him in 10 minutes.
Listen, fighting, like people will hit me up, like who I think is going to win fights. Fighting is it's so hard to bet on. Like even if you're a huge favorite, like it's fighting, there's so many variables. It's too hard to pick.
Till better get a KO win if he wants a title shot. If he wins by decision, he should fight Jared Cannonier. I don't know, man. I think even if it's even if he wins like a controversial split decision, Okay, because Darren Till is going to come out and make it seem like, oh, these judges are crazy. I swept the scorecards, whatever. Very intense guy. He's going to say the right things. That's going to make headlines the rest of tonight and tomorrow. No doubt about it. And timing is a big thing because we all expect Adesanya and Whitaker to happen in 2022. But what if like Whitaker can't fight till like May or June and Adesanya is like, I want to fight in February.
Yeah.
Guess who's fighting for the title first? It's going to be Darren Till.
Yeah.
That's why Marvin Vettori got a title shot. Izzy's like, I'm fighting in June. Whitaker wasn't ready.
And Marvin
Vettori's in.
Yeah.
This is an interesting question. How will the Apex, so the smaller cage of the Apex, affect Darren Till's wide fighting stance, Sean?
I didn't even think about that. I mean, I think they're going to run into the fence a lot more, because Derek's going to be pushing in, trying to get those takedowns. So the fence is going to be there a lot sooner. This is a tough fight, man. I remember, like, I literally just picked who I thought was going to win today just because it was a toss-up. Like, I literally, if Derek wins, I'm not going to be surprised at all. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, it's a main event on a fight. Not like you can make arguments that all the main events have like stories and things like that. Like Chikadze and Barboza was a good main event. Yeah, the stakes weren't. I mean, there were definitely stakes. It was like a neck, like who's going to take that next leap into like the second or third tier of 145. But this is a fight night main event with a lot of stakes. This is the one like this is like Dillashaw Sandhagen stakes in a way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who wins the rematch, Usman or Colby?
Usman. I thought Colby did very good that first fight. I didn't really like the stoppage. Like to me, if you fight that long, they should have let it go. But Usman's just been going like this. And Colby, he beat Woodley by breaking his rib, got hurt, like an injury. Like he did look good against Woodley, but Usman's been knocking people out. I think he might knock Colby out. So I'm going Usman. Man,
it is tough. It's tough to pick against Kamaru right now.
Yeah, it's very hard to pick against him.
Let's see. A lot of confidence in you, Sean. You break Kiesic, Hamzat, Colby, and Kamaru right now. How about that?
Let's go.
Logic Wins agrees with you. He's picking Gon. Philly boys for life. Get that belt, Sean. We just got that. Mm-hmm. That's just John Jones. Okay, so what are the chances John Jones fights Ngannou first? Like, obviously, if John Jones calls the UFC at any point and says, I'm ready to go, I'm happy, I'm fighting, he's getting the next title shot. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. But is he going to do that?
That's the question.
When's the last time he fought?
February of 2020 when he beat Dominic Reyes was his last fight.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what he's doing. Like, I know he's saying 2022, but you're right, though. Like, if he calls up Dana, he's fighting whoever he wants to fight. So, I guess we'll just have to see.
Will Brunson get a title shot with a win tonight? See, this is a different thing, right? Altogether. It's two different guys, two different star powers. I feel if Derek Brunson wins, he needs to fight Jared Cannonier ASAP.
Yep, that's it. That's the fight.
Darren Till will just jump everybody. It's just insane.
And just get a title shot.
Where are we at right now? A lot of the same questions. Thoughts on Aaron Jeffrey? Are you familiar with Aaron Jeffrey?
A little bit. I fought Aaron my second pro fight. One of my toughest fights I've ever had, and he's only lost to me and Brendan Allen. Good company, He's a stud. He moved up to 185, and he's been crushing it. I know he fights on the Contender the end of September. He's a super nice dude, great fighter. I'm excited to watch him fight.
Yeah, he's on the Contender series coming up once again. This will be his second crack at it. So
yeah, he's a stud. I think he fought Brendan on the Contender series. So tough fight.
Yeah, I was the dance-off champion. I don't even think I danced, but I'll take it. I think we already answered that question. Thoughts on Charles Air Jourdain? Now, by the way, Charles Jourdain was supposed to fight Lerone Murphy on this card, and what a scrap that would have been. But he's getting a very game and wily veteran in Julian Erosa, which should also be a wild fight. Jourdain's had his ups and downs. I think his personality is coming out a lot more. You see it on social media, doing all these different videos. He's pretty hilarious at this point.
Really? I haven't seen it. I have to follow him. Yeah. As far as the fight, I'm kind of going with Julian. I like Julian. Who did he fight last? It was a wild fight from what I remember.
Julian Erosa?
Yeah.
He lost. He got stopped by, I have to think. Julian fights like every 3 weeks these days. He's such a nut.
I'm pretty sure
Seung-Woo Choi, he lost. He got knocked out in the first round.
Oh, he lost his last fight?
Yep. Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr, he got the flying knee in under a minute. Sean Woodson fight was pretty wild because Sean was on his way to winning that fight, and then he ended up submitting Sean in the third round with the Darce.
I must be thinking of somebody else. I think I might have just screwed somebody on some picks. I don't know.
Julian's a gamer, man.
I thought his last fight was like some wild fight. I can't. There's so many fights every weekend. It's just so hard to keep track. I watch them all. So yeah, I don't know. Shit if I know.
We got Nick Diaz or Robbie Lawler. That's coming up real quick.
I'm picking Nick Diaz just because it's Nick Diaz. I can't pick against Nick Diaz. Those guys, they have the same thing. They have that star power, you know. No matter what they do, where they do it, you're going to be watching. And I'm picking Nick.
Yair versus Max is a mismatch, in my opinion. Your thoughts? Okay, first of all, let me just clear something up. I know that fight has been reported. I know Dana White said it was a done deal. It is not a done deal. We talked about this before. That fight is not done for November. A lot of things can change. From what I understood, and this is probably like 3 weeks ago when these conversations started, bout agreements were not even submitted. We hadn't even gotten to like the verbal agreement stage yet. Like this was, in my opinion, the Ally Quinta sort of thing that we're just going to throw this fight out there and let's make sure it happens. But from all accounts, everybody I've talked to, that fight is not done for November 13th. But if they do fight,
was there a date that they were supposed to fight? Maybe
November 13th, I believe, was the date thrown out.
I was going to say maybe they can main event my card.
Maybe they will. But listen, here's the thing. If you're Max Holloway, why even sign the dotted line right now? Because you got a title fight coming up in your division in like 3 weeks. What if Brian Ortega wins that fight? You're getting the first crack, man.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
So we'll see what happens. That fight is not done, by the way. But if they do fight, I'm all over Max Holloway in that fight.
For sure.
All right, we'll throw this out there. Thoughts on Ben Simmons?
I don't know shit about basketball, but all my boys they've been posting memes. They've been like telling this dude to get the fuck out of town. So I guess my man's got to go.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I see people just ripping him to shreds. It's amazing. Like once you get engulfed into this sport, you almost forget about everything else.
Dude, I don't watch anything else. MMA just consumes my life.
Should TJ Dillashaw wait for a title shot or fight Jose Aldo?
If they're guaranteeing him a title shot, I would wait for a title shot. But if not, then him versus Aldo would be a crazy fight. Aldo looks amazing, you know, so that'd be a great fight. Yeah, if they're going to give him a title fight, obviously you wait for that. But if not, because he just had surgery, he's out until at least 2022. So yeah, who knows?
And then Sterling and Jan are fighting October 30th, so it could line up for him depending on how that fight plays out. Hopefully we have like a clear-cut winner and we can move on from this rivalry.
There's no illegal knees.
It's nuts. Don't know about that, Sean, in the welterweight division. Shavkat Rakhmonov is coming. What do you think of Shavkat?
He's a killer. We're all killers. But obviously I think I can beat anybody in the world. So yeah, he is a beast though.
Sean doesn't want to fight ranked fighters. Please, Mike, play the audio of Sean's post-fight interview. Listen, he said it. He's been on multiple interviews and has said that what's the point of fighting all these ranked guys right now when I'm making the money I'm making? Like, let me make some more money and it'll be worth it. Like, there's guys at 35 is a very deep pool. You could find a lot of tough fights for him at 135. Like him versus a guy like Montel Jackson is a very dangerous fight. Like guys like that, he should just fight Brian Kelleher. Like, what are we doing here? Just make that fight happen.
Yeah, that's a great fight. Because even when who was he supposed to fight that got hurt and then he wound up fighting the kid he just fought, Chris. He was supposed to fight
Chris Patino. He was supposed to fight Louis Spolka. That's who it was.
I seen like a bunch of big name 35-pounders trying to throw their name into that hat. And he was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to take this guy. You know, hey, good on him. He made fat stacks. And I mean, that was a crazy ass fight, but he wasn't anywhere close to losing that fight. Like, he's being smart. Hey, can't hate on him for that.
Would you be open to a fight with Wonder Boy with a win over Michael Chiesa?
For sure. I'm after Chiesa, top 5, and then title shot for me. That's the way I'm going.
What happened to Jonathan Martinez? Complication with the weight cut. As you saw, he missed weight by a couple pounds, and the fight got scratched because he was dealing with some physical complications afterwards. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know it was bad enough for him not to be able to fight today. So, what else? God, these questions are unbelievable. They're just everywhere. There's so many. Like, and with this program, sometimes like you're on pace. You're like, okay, I'm going to get to this question. And then the thing will just skip on you.
Yeah, it's going.
I mean, this is just a psychological question. How much money is enough money, Sean?
$20 million.
20 million is a number?
20 million. 20 million is a good number. Money is, money's great, but if you're not doing what you love, you're never going to be happy. Find something you love, and if you can make some money at it, like me fighting, if I can make decent money fighting, I'm living the dream. So whatever, it's all about what your values are, and I'd fight for free. So I'm living the dream right now.
Questions everywhere. Sterling versus Jan predictions.
I'm going to go with Sterling because he's a CFFC champ, and I can't go against my guys.
I had a feeling you were going to go that route. I have to look into it more. I did pick Sterling to win the first fight. Jan looked really good in that first fight.
He did.
So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. How much longer do we have to wait for Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady?
Maybe after Chiesa.
There you go.
I got a big test in Chiesa first, and then we'll go from there.
What would Sean be doing if he wasn't a fighter?
If I wasn't a fighter, I went to school for auto mechanics. Didn't work out. I'd probably be doing construction. All my brothers are in some kind of manual labor. That's what my dad did, and that's probably what I'd be doing. This should, or you know what? Something with bodybuilding or powerlifting or something like that. That's all. I started off lifting before I started fighting and training, so something with that.
It's a very, very good time to be on the Contender Series. Yes, it is a very good time to be on the Contender Series, and I think you all know why. How much weight do you have to cut, Sean?
So I walk around the mid-90s, and then throughout fight camp, I'll get my way down to lower 90s. Fight week, I cut around 19 pounds of water.
What do you have in your bag in order to beat Usman? When do you see yourself fighting for the belt? So let's just say, Sean, life is grand. Everything works out. You dealt through the adversity, and now you're getting ready to fight. My wife's drilling downstairs. If you hear a drilling sound, that's what's happening, but it's okay. How many more fights do you need? How many more wins do you need before we start talking Sean Brady title shot?
I think Chiesa, obviously, I have to beat him first. At least one more after that. So I think I'm 2 fights away from that. But who even knows if Usman will be there? But if he is, I think I have the best grappling in the division. I have big power in my hands. I have really good striking. I have a lot of, the thing is, people don't know too much about me yet. People just think I'm a grappler, and I have a lot more tools to show. And each fight, they're just going to keep coming out.
Is Marcelo Rojo the dude that got his fight canceled on? No, that's Sean Brady. I read that question wrong. That is Sean Brady. That is not Marcelo Rojo. Sean's thoughts on Kevin Lee losing to Daniel Rodriguez. Is he upset seeing that he could have gotten a win over a wily vet? What were your thoughts watching that fight? Was it more just because of the injury and stuff that you just weren't able to fight? Was it more that than watching D-Rod get a win?
Yeah, I mean, I was just bummed because, I had an injury and I wasn't able to fight. But watching them fight, Daniel Rodriguez is tough as they come, and he looked really good, and it was good for him to showcase what he did. But I got the Michael Chiesa fight. It sucks that I haven't been able to fight this summer, but I got a huge fight coming up, and I'm way happier with with this. So I'm good.
I'm curious about this too. Brewster's question right here. Do UFC fighters have to pay to watch the pay-per-views?
Yes.
Hopefully you get like reimbursed for that, right?
Yeah.
Or like tax write-off?
I do get Fight Pass for free. I got Fight Pass for free.
All right. So that saves, that's like $100 a year.
I get to scout all my opponents for free. So Fight Pass is awesome. There, I go back and watch. I was watching GSP versus BJ Penn the other day. It's great.
ESPN Plus, do you get that or?
Yeah, I pay for ESPN Plus.
Any word on Rakhmonov possibly fighting UFC 267? I haven't heard anything yet. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him against a guy maybe in the top 15. I just want to see him tested at this point. Why do you think there are so many people underplaying Luigi Vendramini? Because he's fighting Paddy Pimble. Paddy's a name, and people. I mean, this debut is like 5 years in the making. He's turned the UFC down. I'm not gonna say he turned him down. Right? Yeah, twice. So this debut has been a long time coming. So yeah, I just think it's that. I think it's just a lot more people know who Paddy is, but Vendramini's tough, man.
We're gonna find out soon.
Showing off the loft. That's right. This is my office balcony.
Dude,
thoughts on the UFC possibly signing Alex Pereira? I love the signing. It's pretty much a done deal. He can't put pen to paper yet because he's got his Glory title defense this weekend. So he has to wait for that fight to end, and then he can put pen to paper. And he's expected to fight Andreas Michailidis at MSG on November 6th. But good prospect, man. I mean, you saw that killer knockout that he had for LFA last year, right?
Yeah, he's a stud, and especially he's got a win over Izzy in kickboxing. So there's a story there.
What do you think about Fiziev? I love Fiziev. Good fighter. That fight with Bobby Green was great. I don't think Bobby Green gets enough credit coming out of that fight either.
Yeah, that was a very tough fight. Good fight.
How did Sean do versus Felder in training?
You don't do that. You don't talk about training. Training stays in the training room. I love Paul. We've had. I will tell you this. We've had some wars. So anytime you're sparring with Paul Felder, even if you're grappling, you might get hit with the elbow. So you never know with old Paul.
You told me in one of our interviews about it was right after Paul Felder retired, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Was it Pat Sabatini that got into like a war with him? Tell that story.
It was his name was Pat White, and
Pat White.
Paul might have took him down or he dropped him and was just on top of him from like open guard, just ground and pound him. And Pat White is like trying to like say fuck you. He said fuck you like 3 times, and then he was like, all right, I'm done. I have a million of those stories.
Oh man, are you gonna be watching this next week?
I mean, I'll stream it. VTOR. I ain't paying for that.
I might actually be there. So,
oh really?
Yes, TBD. But now that it's moved to Florida, it's a very strong possibility that I will be there.
VTOR is taking that.
I have no idea what's gonna happen. I'm so invested. But Anderson Silva's boxing, and I'm very excited to just be there live to watch Anderson Silva smile and have a blast.
Is he fighting Tito?
Sure is.
Jesus Christ.
Press conference coming up on Wednesday. I think that should be a whole lot of fun.
He's going to light Tito up.
It's going to be so fun. Why is Cody Garbrandt doing this? He's not Cody Garbrandt. Come on. We've already asked about his tattoos.
All white guys with tattoos all look the same.
James Krause trains Luigi, not underestimating him. That's a very.
I didn't know that.
You about to change your pick?
Nah, I can't. I anytime James, his guys fight, dude, he's an amazing coach. He's such a nice guy. I met him in Boston, and we've been talking a bunch ever since. And every time I see him, he's a great dude. But his team's very well trained, and he's a good coach. So it makes it a little bit more interesting.
Let's do a few more because the card is about to start. We went a little extra, Sean. I appreciate you hanging out.
No worries, man. This is fun.
Let's see. Where are we at? No, I'm not Joe Rogan or Sean. Yes, I think Logan Bull wins tonight. Where's Jair Rodriguez? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
First fight happening in a few minutes. So there you go. You'll go watch that fight right now.
I heard that final fight is a beast.
Yeah.
I heard the dude's very good.
Zabit is hurt. Yes. I don't know what's happening
got like some medical, like something he's got to get cleared up. From what I read, that's a shame. There. I'm going to see him fight.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Like I just feel it's not wasted talent because it's not his fault, but like you just want to see more.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have anything else? Do we got anything else? Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool.
McGregor's done. Yeah, just a whole bunch of that. All right, well, this one. So Dustin Poirier is expected to challenge Charles Oliveira on December 11th at UFC 269. That is targeted. What do you think, man?
I think Oliveira doesn't get the credit he deserves. He could definitely, I could see him getting a submission, but if there's a gun to my head, I'm going with Poirier. He's just a beast, man. His boxing's so crisp. He's very good on the ground too. His takedown defense is pretty solid. So I think I would pick Dustin. Who would you go with?
Dustin.
Yeah.
I think Dustin's the best lightweight in the world right now.
Yeah,
now that Khabib is out, Dustin's the best lightweight in the world.
Yeah, outside of Khabib, he's the man.
So, but listen, I mean, Charles Oliveira beats Dustin Poirier. There's no more questions. There's no more nothing.
Yeah, he's the man at that point.
All right, so you're taking Darren Till. I'm taking Derek Brunson. We're both on Asmadov. Morono or Zawada? Who you got in that one?
Morono.
I got Morono too. Roundtree versus Bukauskas.
I'm going with Roundtree.
I'm going with Modestus, man. He's a grinder. He's got to get out of that. He doesn't start very quickly, but he gets better as the fight goes on. So if he can get to the third round, I think he gets the finish.
He's a question mark because he's so explosive, and like if he hits you, he can. But I know he's had some ups and downs, but yeah, I'm picking him. Who opens the card? Patty, right?
Patty and Luigi. I think Patty wins the decision. But I think Patty wins the first 2 rounds, and he's going to struggle in the third, I think.
Think so?
Yeah, I think Patty wins the decision, but I think Luigi's going to do what he did in his last fight and make things very interesting.
All right, well.
We'll see. I got McCann, I got Jack Shore, Jourdain Arosa, and then I got Jourdain winning that fight, but very close.
Yeah.
And Lungan Bula I got winning as well.
We almost got all the same picks, so.
Look at us, Sean. Unbelievable.
Let's see.
It's that East Coast vibe right there.
Yes,
so.
Sir.
All right, man. I appreciate you jumping on and giving us some extra time. Any final thoughts before we let you go and watch some fighting?
Nah, man, this was super fun. Let's do it again and let's enjoy these fights.
All right. That's it, everybody. So for Sean Brady, I am Mike Heck. Thank you for watching this pre-fight Q&A. It was we made it happen. Got a little crazy with all the questions, but we appreciate you guys joining us. So we'll be back after the fights for the post-fight show. So join us. Sean will not be there, but I will be there with others. Unless you want to come, you can if you want, but you probably got other shit to do. We'll see. We'll see.
I appreciate it.
All right. So enjoy the fights. We'll see you on the other side, everybody.
Peace out, guys.